A very good evening, my dear ladies and gentlemen, and esteemed members of the panel present with us here this evening. Today, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome you all to the 200th episode of our very own Together for Education webinar series. It was in March 2020 when we were all facing one of the greatest global challenges of our time, the coronavirus pandemic. It was in that hour of crisis that Together for Education webinar series was launched by Notebook to ensure that we all stay connected and share our thoughts and best practices. Schools were closed and most of us were working from home. But every Wednesday and Saturday we met, and that became a part of our weekly routine. So much so that some of our esteemed patrons even told us that for them, Wednesdays and Saturdays were notebook days, something that we all looked forward to when we could meet, read, and freely share our thoughts on various contemporary topics to lift our spirits. Debates and discourses were free-flowing in every session, reflecting the true democratic tradition of our great nation. As we all woke up to new realities every passing day, the extremely worthwhile and relevant deliberations we hosted in this platform truly helped us tap the exhilaration, hope, and courage that fermented within all of us. The great joy of conducting these sessions over weeks, months, and years is indeed overwhelming, and it is you, ladies and gentlemen, who have actually made this possible. Let's have a look.
नमस्ते बच्चों, नोटबुक में आप सभी का स्वागत है।
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is a long way that we have come, and without your love and support, nothing would have been possible. So, with hands folded and a gratified heart, I take this perfect moment to thank you all who have unquestionably supported us to reach this magnificent milestone. We are extremely distinguished members from the education fraternity to celebrate this very special day, who all, along with everyone else, stood by us and made the TFE series a big-time success. Let's hear from them today. We start with Mr. Philip Balser, Ex-Deputy Headmaster, the Doon School, Dehradun, and Senior Advisor to Notebook. So over to you, please.
Thank you, Gagori. Congratulations to Notebook. Take a bow, Achin and team, on this landmark event, this double century. It was in 2020 when I first made Achin's acquaintance, and he had invited me to come on board. It didn't take me much time to decide that this was the right thing to do. I have seen many learning platforms. Some poorly made, others very sophisticated, complicated to operate, some targeting the very bright students, others interactive, some boring and simplistic, where they would not inspire many people. Some of them had bad vocabulary and language and grammar issues. Others were outdated in some of their materials, diagrams and figures. But when I looked at Notebook modules, I was suitably impressed, and I believed that they would handle most Indian student exam classes, and they targeted the average student. And when they put together their augmented storytelling and other typical Notebook style of doing things, where a teacher is talking to students, I think I took to this module and I put my heart and soul into doing something that would help them. When these webinars started, Notebook really reached out to the students and teachers during the lockdown period. In COVID, I think Notebook really reached out to students and teachers, not only through their modules, but also through the webinars that had started. Once the webinars got to once a week from the twice a week program, the numbers grew. I even had teachers up to 500 people, 600 people watching our videos, and so many interesting guests that came on. I remember the South African Test cricketer, Darryl Cullinan, being one of the personalities. There was Joy Mukherjee. There were learned professors, psychiatrists, experienced heads of schools. There was even an Everester, army officers, politicians, journalists, theater personalities, models. There's such a varied audience that Notebook reached out to. Initially, I have to add, and Gagori and Shubayu would second this, I was a hesitant speaker and still am in many ways, even though I was a teacher for 44 years. But I think, and I thank Notebook for making me a much more confident speaker online. 200 webinars, I would never have imagined that we got this far. I thought, 50 to 60 would be a good number. Then, of course, we opened up to the 0-hour debate and the, that lovely program, the Young Entrepreneurs program. This was so wonderful. I was back to school again, judging these events, and such bright students we had met. That was a wonderful, opportunity for students, and Notebook made that possible. Also, I think when I got COVID in 2020, it was the Notebook family that reached out to me. It is Achin who made me speak to people in the office who had COVID. And the way they reached out to me was like family. I always felt I was a part of the Notebook family, and they held my hand through my COVID experience. Also, over the years, I have reached out to so many of my colleagues and yet ex-friends and teachers, and invited them onto the platform. So many of them I would have lost forever, but it was through Notebook that I reconnected, invited them, and they too were so grateful to be a part of this program. I've traveled this journey with Notebook, and this time with them and speaking on webinars has been for me the most interesting part of my life post-retirement. The number of research, the topics that I had to research, Gagori and Achin and Shubayu made me go back to the books and the library and the Googles. It was a learning experience. I had to research most of the topics that were thrown at me. I don't think this is the end of the journey. I don't think 200th webinar is the end of anything. I think we take fresh guards, we start again, and I'm sure Notebook has beautiful ideas, bringing in parents, school trips, and other competitions, sharing teacher platforms and forums for best practices. Once again, I am extremely grateful for the hundreds and thousands of people that I've met and people who have heard me speak. Without Notebook, I don't know, I would have been lost at COVID, and my teaching career would never have been so enriched. Thank you very much, all my friends who so willingly agreed to come onto the platform and help me out and help the company out. With that,
thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Next, we have T. Premkumar, sir, Indian Education School, Kuwait. So, over to you, please.
Good evening, Gagori.
Good evening, sir. Thank you so much for being here today.
It's a pleasure once again for me to come into this forum of eminent educationists and vibrant educators. First of all, I must thank you for connecting me with Notebook. It is an accidental connection that we made, and I've been immensely benefited over the sessions that we had organized. You organized for the teachers and the educators from across the world. And one topic which I still remember having done with you is the month of November 2021. And that is the project-based assessment. The topic which I had to research in order to speak at this platform. And I must say it was one of the wonderful experiences that I ever had to understand the deeper insight into project-based learning and project-based assessment. And today, if school children enjoy schooling, is primarily because we have brought that concept of project-based learning and project-based assessment into the school system. And I must say kudos to Notebook for having chosen a topic of that kind to be discussed over the fantastic panelists that you have in your list. 200 episode is, as Philip mentioned, a double century is no joke at all. I must congratulate you and Achin and Shibayo because you were the pioneers for this wonderful program that you launched, especially during the time of COVID, when many of us were heartbroken as we couldn't meet our children face to face. But providing a platform like this to talk to teachers across the globe is one of the greatest achievement of Notebook, I should say. And thanks to you for being a vibrant person that you are in making us very comfortable during these presentations here. My suggestions for you to improve upon these programs is that you should go far and wide, reach out to educators, not from just the Indian school system of education, but even from the foreign schools, we can involve teacher educators. And to have an e-edition of the newsletter where we can contribute our articles on education would go a long way in making this education reach far and wide as I always wanted it to reach. We can always share ideas, we can read ideas from others, and that would make our school system a much better one than what we have today to cater to the needs of the 21st century learners. Because sharing and caring is one of the paramount importance today. And I'm sure people like Philip with 44 years of experience behind him will have a lot to share if you bring out an e-newsletter and ask. I can see here one of a veteran teacher principal, Mrs. Asha Sharma online, and I'm sure she would be in a position to contribute some fantastic articles to your e-newsletter. Gauri, I can only wish you, Achin and Shibayo, all the very best. And rest assured, I'll always be there with Notebook as you march forward to reach the triple century. I look forward to that day as well, to be with all of you. Thank you once again.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. That was indeed a pleasure to listen to you. Next, we have Brinda Ghosh, ma'am, Gyanshree School, Noida, NCR. Ma'am, over to you, please.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody. And congratulations, Gagori and the team of Notebook for having achieved this double century mark. I have been on your panel, not as often as some others over here have been on your Notebook panel. However, the few times that I've been on your panel, I have thoroughly enjoyed myself because there were co-panelists who were able to contribute, and I was able to not only talk, but I was able to learn a lot from my co-panelists. I remember that I was first on the platform in which you discussed design. And that was something very, very interesting. And this is, all the ideas that came through from the other panelists were so interesting that it kind of motivated me to go further into the topic and do a little more research and then have a discussion with the teachers of the school that I head. And so it is always very enriching to be on a platform like Notebook, because not only do you are a panelist, and as a panelist, you contribute what you know. But what is important for me is that I take back with me what I gather from other panelists too. And it gives a lot of food for thought. And that is what is significant about being a member of a panel. So a lovely journey with you. And I wish that you would have many more episodes. And as Mr. Premkumar just mentioned, congratulations and best wishes for your journey forward into the next century of episodes. And I'm sure you're going to achieve that, and soon too. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. So ladies and gentlemen, as we take this program forward, just a little bit about us here at Notebook, which was created with a vision to make education accessible to all. I cannot stop thanking my colleagues who, with their passion and professionalism, have made this journey so memorable. So before we move on, let's look behind the scenes and offer you a sneak peek into the making of Notebook.
Hello and welcome to Notebook's video lesson on Introduction to Accounting.
Today we are going to study the story Madam Rides the Bus, written by Vallikar.
The king, Louis XVI, had come to power in 1774. All you have to remember is the line, "Some people have curly brown hair turning permanently black."
We come back to the panel, and let me begin with Asha Sharma, ma'am, Indian Learners Own Academy, Kuwait. Good evening, ma'am, and welcome to the panel. Ma'am, you're on mute, please. You have to unmute yourself.
Good afternoon, everybody, and hearty congratulations to Notebook on completing double century. I wish, like Mr. Prem, that we will be there to celebrate its third century also. I was there when you completed 100 episodes, and it was a good opportunity to attend the webinars of Notebook. I had been on the panel, but more I was on listening side and attending the webinars of Notebook. I joined you for helicopter parenting, and it was a very good experience to listen to seasoned administrators like Mr. Philip Barrett, and who is an excellent orator, although he said very modestly that he learned to speak after coming to Notebook, but I don't think it is so, because his expression is impeccable. And he apprised us with the systems of very well sought out after schools like Doon School. Mr. Achin is a researcher who went deep into the topic, whatever was the topic for the day, and he apprised us with the spirit and the knowledge of the subject at length. We had an excellent anchor in form of Mr. Subhash, and Mrs. Gagori. You had been corresponding with us. Thank you very much. I must say that the team of Notebook is excellent, and you are doing a very good job for the learning community, may it be the teacher or the students. I've been asked to give three topics for further discussion. And my first appeal would be that we throw some light on life skills. Life skills like empathy, critical thinking, creative thinking, decision making, problem solving, effective communication, interpersonal relationship, cooperative work, and managing emotions. These are very important, but they have become very bookish subjects. Teachers do not deal with them the way it is expected. And we have to give them the tools that so that children can internalize these life skills. Otherwise, keeping such an important topic in the curriculum or giving this option to the children will be a futile exercise by CBSE. Another thing I would like to ask Notebook is to become proactive in a way that NEP 2020 is coming into effect. But some effort has to be made to apprise the school, all the schools, that what is to be done to prepare yourself to welcome NEP 2020. What should we do in advance so that we are able to receive it well? And the third topic is promotion of innovation. How can we promote if more can be done on that? I will stay to the point, and I would like to say that parents are the equal stakeholders in education. Putting parents aside and addressing only to the teachers and students will not solve the purpose. We have to educate parents at times more than the teachers. So on parenting, if you can have some of your episodes, it would be great. And I second Mr. Prem, who stated that there should be a magazine, some newsletter in which we should share our best practices. Usually, we do not want to share our thunders. But if through your magazine, they can come to the fore and we can improve our systems, it would be great. Once again, I would like to wish all of you, the full team of Notebook, all the best in their onward journey, and may you do very well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was indeed a pleasure to have you over with us today. Next is Dr. Ranjan Roy, sir, Daravati Modi Academy, Varanasi, Uttar Pradesh. Sir, you have to unmute yourself, please. Yes, I think now it's okay.
Good evening to each one of you. I am very excited to see that all the panelists, whatever would be the views with regard to Notebook. Today, I'm feeling quite proud that because I do remember April 2020 when Notebook started this webinar series. And I was also invited as one of the speakers in leveling the playing field. That time only I came across Mr. Philip Barrett and other co-speakers. It was such a wonderful journey. Today, Notebook is celebrating 200 episodes. It's a big thing. In cricket, century, then double century, then triple century. If someone is scoring, हमारी छाती जैसे प्राइम मिनिस्टर बोलता है 56 इंच, तो हमारी भी छाती 56 इंचेस हो जाते हैं. Now this is the fastest growing edutech platform, a Notebook, and it came into its position, it achieves its position serving the nation when everyone was locked inside the four walls. So that time Notebook came with a lot of relevant topic. And if we talk about something favorite, it would be very difficult to identify which one is favorite, which one is not. All of them were so relevant. And starting from your creative, if I talk about, your creative was so nice. Those creatives were also self-explanatory. I remember the bridging the digital divide, the art of expression, leveling the playing field, managing multicultural classroom, navigating peer pressure, then counseling, guidance, assessment, even pedagogical structure, and all this. So from all walks of life, people joined this webinar and they have put forward their ideas and views, and for which thousands and crores of people were benefited. I know in terms of figure, this webinar had over more than 1 lakh participants and maybe over 200 speakers globally. It's not confined to only in our country, India. It was in Middle East and other developed countries. Speakers were there from Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Netherlands, Lagos, Qatar, Sweden, Belgium. But you know, the team which worked in a spirited way, burning the midnight oil, that is under the leadership of Mr. Achin Bhattacharya, and then Shubhayu Roy, and then Miss Chatterjee, Abhishek, all of them were there. And there we got the views and opinions of people like Mr. Philip Barrett, Major General Mr. Bali. So there are so many and other colleagues from all parts of length and breadth of India, speakers who are there, those who are my colleague principals. So we have also learned so many things. So in few seconds, probably I'll not be able to complete all those. And definitely this selection of topic, it's creative, these were so impactful. I wish that notebook should continue and chose the topics like Asha ji has mentioned certain relevant topic, which is very important. And we need not to forget, since it is for educational fraternity, we need to consider other stakeholders like important pillars of educational institution, that is students, parents, director, managers, even university people also joined here. So I wish that notebook should continue and consider those relevant topic and give us the opportunity, extend it to all the other stakeholders, so that you can leave your mark in the years after years. And with regard to journal or periodicals, I support other speakers, those who have said, so that we can also contribute and it would be beneficial for others. So I wish all the best to Notebook and all the stakeholders, and our cooperation and support would always remain with Notebook. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you so much, sir. Next, we have Dr. Rashmi Tyagi, ma'am, Academic Director, Asheville World School, Maharashtra. Ma'am, over to you, please.
Can you hear me?
Absolutely, ma'am. We can hear you.
Okay. Can you, am I visible? I can't hear you. I think I'll come after some time.
No, ma'am. You're visible and audible. You can just continue.
Okay. So first I will congratulate Notebook. And I know that Notebook is having a family. And in that family, Achin sir is there, and you are there, Abhishek sir, and so many educators, they are connected to this family. Hello, still you can see me? Hello?
Yes, ma'am, we can see you. Okay. We can hear you loud and clear. Please continue.
Okay. So as now the educator, he was telling that during the pandemic period, you were the source of inspiration to all of us, because we were not lagging behind anywhere, the educators, in getting the knowledge, because we always pursue knowledge, and whatever the changes were taking place in education, then the Notebook was there, you know, to support all of us, that how we can, you know, just keep on doing our work of getting new knowledge. And it was the need of the hour that time to know more and more about the transformations in education. And Notebook was there to help the educators to learn more things, to discuss more things which were happening at that time, not only the teachers, and the principals and the educators, but also the students, because whatever we were learning, we were passing on to our teachers and then to the students, and the videos were wonderful. Many schools opted for the videos that time. So notebook has helped the students also, because the new era of online teaching learning, the hybrid teaching learning started at that very moment. And then the notebook came to the rescue of the students by teaching them through the videos. And that also, they were not just, I should use this word, charging anything from the students. And they were, giving them to all the schools in the rural areas as well as in the urban areas. So they were the support, and they were the hope for that academic period. And I have attended, and I had been panelist for, a few episodes, I should say, because this is 200th episode today. And it is a great achievement. And whenever we want to know about a certain topic, then we just open any of the notebook, this session, and then we get the knowledge from all the educators from all over the world. So I will just congratulate Achin sir also, and I will like to thank Achin sir and his team that we were just abreast in education, and they have already discussed so many good topics, and most of the topics, I should say. But as the new, transformation has taken place and NEP 2020 has come, so now the implementation of NEP is very important, and we can have those topics where the implementation, how we can do it, because that is the most important question right now, that NEP 22 means that the research and innovation, and also the digitalization and the metaverse, and then, this fifth revolution. So many things are to be added in future also. So these are the topics like blockchain technology. So such topics which are relevant for the coming time, especially for 2031, decade. So I wish and I request Notebook to give us the light of knowledge for the coming years. And again, thank you to the team, Notebook team. And thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Next we have Sumali Devgan, ma'am, Principal, the Doon Girls School, Dehradun, Uttarakhand.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you,
Good
Team
evening.
Notebook. Just about managed to get in.
Thank you so
Rushing
much,
through
ma'am.
meetings, yes. I'm sorry, yes, I logged in a bit late. Right, so thank you, Team Notebook, and congratulations on turning 200. Wonderful. It was started at a time it was really needed, I think. And I quite enjoyed most of the episodes that I did attend. Very interesting. I feel all this while, it's mainly the heads of schools that have been attending these sessions, right? I do feel that parents also need to be involved, because in most cases, parents are quite clueless. They have their own ideas.
All right.
So I think it's good if you could also start sessions with parents, along with perhaps heads of schools. And I also feel certain sessions could be done with the teachers of various schools, because I think they also need to understand, right, and take part in these webinars. So maybe you could think about introducing a different chapter now, get parents also involved, so let them also discuss and have ideas of how schools are run, what heads of schools also have to go through, right? And also maybe sessions for children, interactive sessions. What do they feel? What are their opinions? some of the senior school students. I think that could be done. The other thing also, like I said, of course, most of these sessions involved heads of schools. Yes, getting teachers also would be a very good idea, and another perhaps platform for sports departments, because sports and games are not really treated very seriously. Maybe people still don't realize the importance of keeping fit. So you could have platforms where they discuss the various aspects. I'm sure my head of sports department would be delighted to attend, give his views, discuss with other HOD of sports departments. So I feel that could be some new programs you could introduce. But yes, I have to also echo what exactly ma'am said just now. You all started at a point of time when all of us were locked up in our homes and in our rooms. So yes, it did connect us to the rest of the world. Otherwise, it would have been pretty depressing, I think. So I've enjoyed most of the sessions. I wish I could have taken part in more, but it's always clashing with something or the other. So yes, thank you so much for making me a part of your team, and congratulations once more. And we look forward to many more interactive, interesting sessions. Thank you so much. Thank you to all.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you all my panelists. Well, that was truly encouraging. And thanks to all of you for your kind words. The Notebook webinar series has truly been an amazing success. Let's see some very special, enriching moments from the episodes gone by.
Thank you so much.
I still get nervous when I hear the name headmaster, principal. It takes me back to my days. One was always respectful of your principal and headmaster. I'd like to just reflect on my life in sport and what it has taught me as a cricketer. I'm not an educationist with enormous degrees, but it's a practical experience of what I went through. At the same time, post my playing days, I got involved in coaching.
So the first and foremost need is exposure to choices. What possibly can I do in life? A very large number of our
children really have improved self-esteem. They are more engaged in their community. They ask much more critical questions, which is a good thing.
Like I said, going back to not fitting into the corporate culture, and I think that's when I started thinking in terms of what next. And
there is the element of right from your elementary stage, where we need to bring in curiosity, asking of questions.
After every show, because literally after every show that I do, because they know my story, somebody walks up to me and says, yeah, I want to quit my corporate life.
So I must admit that during the day when I would see deer climbing, I'd be extremely proud. But whenever I was alone in my tent at night, I would be worried, a very worried father, wondering, what am I doing?
As I started the talk, you must have noticed that I took this mantra, Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya. That means I was being born in the ignorance. My teacher, my guru, who lit up a torchlight, and all the negativity has gone, and he has shown me the right eyes.
Well, we now welcome Major General Neeraj Bali sir, Indian Army veteran and founder of Leadership Advisors. Sir, very good evening, and over to you, please.
Good evening, Gauri. I'm about to take everyone from the sublime to the ridiculous by starting with a joke. And I can partly blame Dr. Ranjan Roy because he triggered my mind with the cricket analogy and notebooks continuing webinar series. You know, the joke is that Harbhajan Singh, who was a bowler, managed to score 33 in a cricket test match. And the moment he reached the score of 33, he raised his bat to all the audience, hoping for an applause. And of course, nobody clapped. And from the other side of the wicket, Sachin Tendulkar walked up to him and said, Bhaji, you don't get applause at 33, you get applause when you reach 100. And Harbhajan said, you obviously were not in the same school as me, because every time I scored 33 out of 100 in an exam, that was all that I required to do. And that's where I need the applause. Well, quite clearly, 33 is not the number for an applause. 100 is. And when you put that in the context of where Notebook is today, 200, that tells you where it has actually reached. And it's 200 not out, going by the same cricket analogy. My co-panelists, many of whom I see here, know that I always started my part of the webinar with a story, and I'm not going to, I'm not going to sully that record. I'm going to start with the story. There is this novelist, which many of you may have heard about, Jerome Whiteman, who tells a story about his encounter with Einstein. Now, Jerome considered himself tone deaf, didn't like music, didn't think he was built for music, was invited for a dinner party by a New York philanthropist. When he landed up at the lady's house, he found, to his little bit of his horror, that the room was being set for a musical evening, and he thought he's going to hate it. As luck would have it, he was sitting next to this man smoking a pipe with white hair, Albert Einstein. So Einstein said, don't you like Bach? And Jerome said, I don't know who Bach is. So he said, oh, really? He said, yes, I'm tone deaf. So Einstein said, no, you're not. Come with me. He grabbed him, took him to the first floor of the house. He apparently knew the house quite well. And he said, all right, tell me any form of music you like. And he said, well, any music which has words and some tune. So he pulled out a record of Bing Crosby, played it, and said, just tell me what you heard. And to his surprise, Jerome started singing. Badly, of course, but singing. So that evening, for the next about 45 minutes to an hour, Einstein and Jerome went on singing songs like children. And by the end of the evening, Jerome was quite sure that he was not really tone deaf. Now, when they came down, the hostess was a little upset. She asked Einstein, where have you been? You missed the entire evening. So I'm going to quote what Einstein said. He said, I'm sorry, but my young friend here and I were engaged in the greatest activity of which man is capable. And she looked puzzled and she said, really, what is that activity? He said, opening up yet another fragment of the frontier of beauty. Opening up yet another fragment of the frontier of beauty. Now, why am I saying this lofty little thing in a webinar like this? Because when I was looking back at these 200 episodes, and many of which I attended and participated in, I think in its own humble way, but at a very large scale, Notebook has managed to open up many fragments of awareness, understanding, knowledge. Because the sheer dazzling variety of views that one hears here, the perspectives that one hears here, I think is something we should all celebrate. Now, what do I remember? When you're 65, you don't remember much, but what I remember most are one on building institutional culture, where we all learned that culture invariably flows from the top. I remember one on counseling, guidance, and adjustment in education, where we learned that students will only approach you if you have the persona that allows students to approach you. I remember something about overprotective parenting, where the whole goal of parenting should be to make your children free of you. And finally, I remember the fourth one, which is on employability on a very pragmatic end, where I recall that when I was CEO of a rural education society running 92 schools and colleges, industry leaders told me often that the main reason why we can't take your children as employees is because they lack social skills. How hard must that be to teach social skills to our children? And the second reason they gave is, of course, that your syllabus is not contemporary. Well, besides that, I remember peer counseling, appreciating art, showing kindness, and a whole lot of things in a spectrum from the pragmatic to almost the spiritual. Newsletter. My answer is absolutely yes. Everyone has said everything that had to be said about it. I think absolutely we should have a newsletter and all of us should contribute. We should give it the frequency which can be sustained, because too many of these things come into being and then there's not enough writing, and then it really doesn't happen. And I think obviously it'll have an e-format. I feel that all your subscribers can be put on a broadcast list on WhatsApp, not a group, but a broadcast list where automatically it goes to everyone and no one clutters each other's line. What else going forward? I think going forward, your goals should include benefiting not just students, but every stakeholder, as some of you have already mentioned, to develop an intimate understanding of the nuances of contemporary education. And not just in education, but also employability. Because in the end, nobody comes to a school or a college to end up unemployed. Also, I think we are well placed to develop a network. We can call it the notebook network, a notebook social community of everybody who attends here, who remains connected in some form or the other. Who should be the stakeholders? Students, of course. I think college and university professors and principals who understand what is the bridge that need to be built between the schools and the colleges would be a great idea. Mr. Premkumar already made a fabulous suggestion that we should encourage more foreign entities also to join in. Corporate leaders who would tell you what is missing in our youth. What is it that they are looking for when they employ people? Entrepreneurs to trigger everybody's inspiration. Life coaches like me, and well, that was not a marketing statement. And of course, people from different professions, scientists, doctors, engineers, armed forces officers, models, IT experts, you have it all. My sincere, heartfelt congratulations, felicitations to all of you, starting with the leader Achin and Gagori and Shubhayu and everyone else. And thank you for letting me be a part of this. I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Over to Rajeshri Shihag, ma'am, the Fab India School, Rajasthan.
Good evening, everyone, and a loud shout out to Gagori, Achin, and Shubhayu. And as many of them have mentioned about certain topics, I was looking up to those 200 episodes. I thought, let me at least have a glance before I go into the session. And the ones which really caught my eyes were Chasing Your Dreams, then Art of Expression, Spirituality in Education, and so forth. So when I was going through those episodes, I realized there's not much that probably I want to suggest, because a lot has been suggested. In fact, while I was going through those episodes, I realized I am the one who's actually missed out a lot of learning opportunities. And probably I should take out time and sit down and watch each one of them, because when I was scrolling, I realized I've really missed out on a lot of learning opportunities. And I'm from Rajasthan, and the school is in the rural parts of Rajasthan. COVID and notebook actually brought equity in education when we talk about not just for children, but for principals. It's always assumed that probably principals know it all, but it is not that way. And notebook was one such platform which could make us learn a lot of things which we could go back and share with our teachers. So all thanks to Gagori for every time pushing us and getting us on the platform, either as a panelist or to just be as a guest who can sit and learn. But Gagori, my apologies for not being able to see all the 200 episodes. You people have done a wonderful job.
Thank you so much.
I'll not miss any one of them from now onwards. So thank you so much for bringing me on to the board.
Thank you. Next we have Mahesh Iyer, sir, Bhavan Smart Indian School, Kuwait.
Good evening to one and all, and a very humble namaskar from all the way from Kuwait. Notebook, the name itself speaks a lot. In my first session with you people, I told that the notebook, that word itself went straight into the hearts of all the educators. Notebook, a book with notes. It matters with what we write the notes in the book. Immediately, a story comes to my mind is that a story between a pencil and an eraser. Pencil goes to the eraser and complains that whatever I write, you erase it out. And the eraser says that I'm not erasing everything. I'm erasing whatever is not required. And I am portraying your image to the public that you are a perfect leader. And then the pencil again says, sorry, whenever I make a mistake, I could realize that you as an eraser were there to make me understand where I am going wrong. At the same time, you sacrifice yourself by erasing my mistakes. My goodness, what a philosophy of story of sacrifice. And the pencil says, I am very sorry. Here, who is the eraser and who is the pencil and who is holding that pencil to write and in which notebook we are writing? Everything matters. This notebook, different sessions, different episodes had given different stories to us as educators. And if notebook has taken these initiatives, what are things they have done? I personally have witnessed all the 200 episodes. At a time when India was battling the coronavirus pandemic, I also came to that one of the episodes, and school education is reinventing itself. That reinvention was kindled by the team, the smart team of Notebook. Concepts like inverted classroom, it got my attention, and artificial intelligence. And where the buzzwords until a few weeks ago, it was just a buzzword, you made it into reality. And it became household realities to each and every educationist. Sitting at home, sitting in the office, sitting in the school, many of the people, they could understand what's going on all around the world. Notebook organized a series of national and international webinars where they included all the educators, different arena of educators. We could understand different styles of educating people. At the same time, we understood that where we are going wrong as educators. Nobody's perfect, we all know that. Notebook has given a tunnel of hope, saying that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Smart way of working the team of Notebook. And what are the things we can easily concentrate more is that about G20, some other current affairs, even this education sections where financial management can be done. Definitely the NEP 2020 implementation, and we are there with you because you have already made the imprint into our hearts also that if we are the pencils, you are the erasers. And if you are the pencil, we are the erasers. Definitely, you are going to make this history on writing in the notebooks where the number of pages will be infinitive. Thank you for having me also here as a part of a very small page of your marvelous notebook. Please erase whatever is not read in your mind. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so very much. Next over to Tapasi Pramanik, ma'am. Radha, Govind Senior Secondary Public School, Ramgarh, Jharkhand. Ma'am, very good evening.
Good evening. Gagori, am I audible?
Absolutely, ma'am. Absolutely, ma'am.
Okay.
Many of them have told many brighter things for Notebook. For me, Notebook is just like a garden. Every season, flower blooms, and the flower for Notebook is the varieties of topics, what you endure to us. Thank you, Notebook, for this marvelous journey of 200, which is really an epic journey. And for me, it is Shubhayu, with whose finger touching I have joined Notebook accidentally. And for me, the Saturday where I keep myself very much glued to this Notebook episodes. And what I do find that the diverse topic, what you endure every Saturday, it enabled me to enrich myself. And that helped me to shape up my personality in a very brighter way. The stalwarts, whoever had joined this journey of Notebook, the panelists, they have shared n number of topics. Even I was also one of, in 2 episodes, I was a part of Notebook, especially the peer learning and truancy. And I do remember asking, truancy, Arey ma'am, it is bunking of the school. What a lovely topic. Then I told, yes, I will be a part of it. But let me share with you that how Notebook enabled me to integrate my learning as well as whatever I have got from Notebook. In a very recent way, I can tell I'm very proud to be one of the member of Notebook family, particularly the topic peer learning. Very recently, I have got 2 children who were completely, they thought that their education has gloomed up. But the topic which you have shared, that is peer pressure and peer counseling, the learning which I have taken from there enabled me, and it was a challenge for me to make those 2 children again come to the main front of the education system. And now they are the regular students coming to the school. I'm very in-depth to the Notebook that the fragments of different varieties of topic, whether it is spiritism, what do I will, formative years, students exchange program, or blended learning, their webinar already Notebook has given. So Notebook, you are one step ahead of it. My request to Notebook, particularly to Asha sir,
I think ma'am was facing some technical glitches and she had to log off. Okay, so we'll continue the session. Oh, ma'am is back. Ma'am, there are some technical issues. I think your voice is breaking and we can't hear you, ma'am. Ma'am, you have to unmute yourself.
Am I audible now?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah. So for me, this journey with Notebook is really, I tell it is a flower. Because in every season, whatever they are giving us, and every topic is properly nurtured by a very beautiful gardener, that is Achinto sir, and followed with Bharat sir, who is just that the flower should bloom, the tree should be healthy, the ingredients, what is needed. And the lady who is a water carer, like she sheds water to everybody, that is Gagori. to all the panelists that it makes a very healthy garden, that is Notebook. Best of luck to Notebook, and I'm waiting when that 3rd century you will be cracking, and we all are there with you.
Thank
And
you.
my best wishes that you all bloom in a very flying colors. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for your words. Before I come to my next set of panelists, a little bit more about us here at Notebook. We at Notebook are an edtech platform that creates short videos pertaining to the school curriculum, meaning that every topic from every subject of the school syllabus has been converted into a series of short videos that can be used in 2 different cases. One is when you as a teacher are starting out a topic in your classroom. You can play one of these videos as a method of visually introducing the topic. These short videos are just 6 to 10 minutes in duration and blend into the class pedagogy. The second is when the student is studying at home, they have access to the same videos on their personal devices, be it a laptop or a smartphone. They can watch the videos repeatedly until they get a very clear understanding of the topic that was taught. What I'm going to do now is play you a very short Notebook mashup video so that you know what they exactly look like. Let's see the video.
Hello friends, welcome back to Notebook. In this chapter on natural vegetation and wildlife, we will take a brief tour of India's rich heritage in an amazing variety of flora and fauna.
So he took 1 foot on the ground as 1 centimeter on paper. This made his measurements easier.
Chemical changes are the result of chemical reactions, the processes in which a substance or substances change into a new substance or substances with different chemical properties are called a chemical reaction.
This news report is of the State Assembly elections of Haryana in the year 1987. Haryana was ruled by the Congress party since 1982. An opposition leader, Chaudhary Devi Lal, led a movement called Nyaya Yudh.
Charlie described how he had stumbled upon the 3rd level of the Grand Central Station on one night, the previous summer, while he had been returning from his office late at night.
Different animals have different organs for movement. We walk and move using our limbs.
डकैत पहले आदमी को मार देते हैं, फिर उसकी तलाशी लेते हैं। लेखक और सुमति भिखमंगों के वेश में यात्रा कर रहे थे।
वृक्ष हो भले खड़े, हो घने, हो बड़े, एक पत्र छाह भी, मांग मत, मांग मत, मांग मत। अग्निपथ, अग्निपथ, अग्निपथ। तू न थकेगा कभी, तू न थमेगा कभी, तू न मुड़ेगा कभी। कर शपथ, कर शपथ, कर शपथ। अग्निपथ, अग्निपथ, अग्निपथ। यह महान दृश्य है, चल रहा मनुष्य है, अश्रु स्वेद रक्त से लथपथ, लथपथ, लथपथ। अग्निपथ, अग्निपथ, अग्निपथ। नोटबुक में आप सभी का पुनः स्वागत।
Well, that was a small glimpse into our work of captivating visuals and engaging storytelling. We have today connected with over 3,500 schools and have had more than 61 lakh students benefit from our 10,000 plus videos. We would request you to visit our website www.notebook.school for more information about Notebook. Let us now come back to today's August panel and start with Mrs. Anupama Ramchandra, Principal, Delhi Public School, Electronic City, Bengaluru. Ma'am, over to you, please.
Yeah, thank you so much, Gaguri. Firstly, huge congratulations to Notebook on the 200th episode. Although it just looks like a number, we know now as educators how difficult it is to get the right kind of people for the right kind of conversations. So I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate the entire team of Notebook for having achieved this milestone. And I have been associated with the Notebook for quite some time now, and I was there in the 100th episode also, and now the 200th episode. I really wish that the journey of empowering educators and all the other stakeholders continue, and we also are a part of this great group called Notebook. So the three words that come to my mind today on this very special episode is for Notebook and all the people who are there leading, working backstage is, first of all, it is perseverance. You people did not give up, although we got back to the offline mode of educating people. Consistency, there has been no drop in the tempo of how you people conduct the sessions. And of course, I should not miss the most important word for me, for you, is excellence. Whatever you have done, I think it was of very, very high quality, in the sense that it was so relevant to each one of us who attended. And every time I come to know of a session through Notebook, I always share it with our entire
Ma'am, we're not able to hear you. Okay.
You're not able to hear me?
No, it's okay. Please continue.
Yeah, I'm traveling actually. And also now, what are the topics that I would like to see or hear? Well, with 200 episodes done, I think you people have covered every topic that one can think of. I would love emotional and mental well-being of children, because although everybody is talking about learning gaps, most important is the emotional and social gap, a well-being gap that we have to cater to. Once we do that, I'm sure children will get back to the mode of studying and back to their academics. So it would be wonderful if we could provide that scaffolding for students, and how to equip teachers, because now I also notice that teachers are also finding that fatigue of helping children cope up with what they've lost over the 2 years. So I would love to listen to that. And should parents be a part of this conversation? Certainly. School is an ecosystem where anything can work only if there is a holistic approach. All the stakeholders have to be on the same page. We have to speak the same language. And the culture at the school should complement the culture at home. So I would strongly suggest that a Notebook can have some exclusive sessions only for the parents, and also call them to be a part of a conversation where we have the other stakeholders. And I have another suggestion, that you should, in fact, bring in students into the conversation. What do they want from us as teachers? What do they want us from as a school? What do they want their parents to understand about them? So I think that would be a very energizing conversation when we have students also come in. Thank you once again, Kagori, for persuading me to be a part of this conversation. This is the third event I am attending for the day, but the human connection with Notebook is so strong that I could not miss it for anything. So thank you all once again, and hearty congratulations. Do continue the good work you have started.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much. Next, we come to Vidukesh Vimal sir, Principal, GPS Patnai, Bihar. Sir, very good evening, and over to you, please.
Thank you very much, Gagori. And I'm so sorry, first of all, the way you have persuaded, and I totally echo with Anupma ma'am, that the human connect, which forces people to come on this platform. But today, whole day I was part of a conference, the Boarding School Association conference, but still, you persuaded, and I said, no, I must be here. Congratulations. I know the right word, because we are using too many, say cricketing words, sports words, well played. Because when you score 200, and rightly mentioned that you need lots of consistency to be there. Fine. And what, but at the same time, I'll use also anecdotal word, the way these days Surya Kumar Yadav uses entertaining. Fine. Because your 200 episodes, someone rightly said, it has lots of diversity. Diversity, which ensures that, there's an engagement at all level, and you are learning from different perspectives. I remember having some of the conversation and being on a few webinars, like, talking about the humor in the class and the importance of humor in the class. No, hardly I have seen webinars on such topics. Or the extreme, the last one, which I was part of as a panelist, was activism, student activism. There are two different paradigms. If you look at the paradigm, but you guys have worked, and I think the kudos to the team for the detail. I said working on these things, what are the things, what are the areas which influences education, what matters to the school at large. And I think you guys have definitely made a huge kind of coverage in terms of gaps, whatever was there. And coming back to the road ahead, that's something I personally feel that we all need to think about it. And I think in the form of webinars, there's still lots of scope and there are a lot of areas which one should cover. I think compliances and legality are the areas where you must bring people from the outside world, legal experts. These days, people lots of talking about, because people run the school, they are heads of school, but if you ask them how many acts, how many compliances they need to follow, hardly people are aware, because unfortunately in our country, you become principal by virtue of having the experience of serving a school for a certain number of years in a different teaching different subject. You will hardly find teachers who have gone through the training and then after training becoming the principals. So I guess it will be great service to the community, which will allow principals to understand the compliance part, understand their obligations, understand the remedies available to them in case of any crisis. I think that one aspect. And another aspect, we talked a lot about digital magazine and kind of stuff. My suggestion would be, rather than calling it a newsletter, kind of make it as a magazine where people can, write their first-hand experience, which may become a research paper, which can come as a research paper, which allows other, say, educators or principals or any stakeholder to learn that what's going on in this field, what kind of things are happening in the area. And, and that first-hand experience, and it'll become a first-hand data and a kind of repository of information which others can refer. That, okay, this kind of information is available. Like I remember when I was doing my mass comm days, at that time, someone said, even American press and they need to refer something, they go to Economic and Political Weekly, that magazine which comes, every week, that used to come at that point of time. And Alok Mehta said, the great journalist, he said, no, they refer to this particular magazine. So in that way, till date, we don't have any such, I'll say, reliable resource available where you go and you are sure about that. That's not kind of paid advertisement. That's not kind of that someone has somehow created that data. The original information coming as a research paper form, which principals are writing, teachers are writing, maybe students may write their experience in their own way, and that may just help. But once again, well done, well played, and keep the good work and keep up the smile. Whether we pick up your phone or we don't pick up your phone, but great job done. Thank you very much, the whole team. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Next, we come to Sangeeta Tandon, ma'am, Principal, Shri Shikshayatan School, Kolkata, West Bengal. Ma'am, very good evening. Over to you, please.
Yeah, good evening, Gauri. It's really nice to be back. You can hear me? Right. Okay, so I dare not say like good old times, because the times were not good when we were meeting, but you made the times very good, Notebook. So it's no wonder that you've reached the milestone of 200. Congratulations to you, Achin, Shibayu, Abhishek, and all those who work behind, in the background. So it was truly an interesting journey that we had with Notebook. I think I wouldn't be speaking much about the webinars, but definitely a different aspect I would like to talk about, which was carried out by Notebook, which we showed in the beginning also. So you actually engaged the students, and the first year it was this inter-school debate that we had, and our children participated. There was so much of excitement, not just of the speakers who were participating, but also of other students who were actually into voting and all and everything. So that year, our children, they worked very hard, but I think they, in the finals, maybe semi-finals, the finals they did not reach because they did not get enough number of votes. Could be other reasons as well. Mr. Philip was there. So, but then they realized that they need to work harder on that aspect also. So next year, when you had this innovation and entrepreneur thing, they were back, right? And this time, so much work was done by them. They were at home week after week. You kept them all engaged. Our students were joining in to listen to them. So, there were two things that you covered. Basically, you kept the children engaged. You added to the knowledge, research work being done by them. Also, the participants who were listening, that was quite good. And interaction was at an international level. So it so happened that last year, our children, they were participating in a debate competition. And they had almost reached the finals. They had reached the finals and then they were supposed to travel. It was at a short notice. And then they said to me, ma'am, I think notebook was better. It was an online thing and we could participate. And it was so good. And now we have to travel and we have our exams. I wish it would happen again. I said, I understand what you're saying. So this is my first suggestion to notebook. Kindly revive all those, inter-school competitions or inter-school events that you have, because that gives a platform to our children to interact with the peer group at international level. It's so good. You get to hear others. You learn to accept, what is good, where you need to work hard more. So that is quite interesting. Kindly revive it, and definitely we'll be joining in. Now, the second question that which I got was that what are the topics that you would like? So all the panelists have given wonderful suggestions. Even I would like to endorse them. Today itself, there was this discussion about should we add the transition year or not? Is NEP being implemented from this year? Last year should have been implemented, or next year? What all angles can we take up? Where should we do? What should we do? So that has become such a big thing. It's not that head of the schools know everything. Even they have to learn from somewhere. Even they need to know. So it's a forum where this discussion will take place and people will understand. That is as far as schools go, teachers. Teaching faculty, definitely, of course, your webinars are quite good. So I'm sure they'll be joining in. For parents, now what is happening is to convince parents about certain aspects is becoming a humongous job. Why transition year should be there? Why you cannot call it a science stream, or why should there not be segregation? Other aspects of NEP will also come. So who's going to talk to them? So a neutral body like Notebook, when you are talking, I'm sure you'll have more impact and they'll believe you more. Of course, they believe us, but maybe you will add to it and you will become our partners over there. And we will recommend your, platform to our parents. So we'll do that. The third thing is, of course, one of our panelists here has said that the mental well-being of our students, that has taken a toll for sure. So that part has to be looked into. So examinations are going on. Perhaps, you could look into the timing part, and just before the examinations, if you could do those things, activities, where stress-related things could be discussed, and striking the right balance between the social networking sites and the books and other things and hobbies. And maybe we need to revive that. If you could talk about it, that is all I would say. Anyway, all the best to all of you. I'm sure, you will stay with us and we'll stay with you. And we look forward to many more webinars and to interactions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for those kind words. Next, we come to Dr. Ambika Prasad Gaur, Sir, Principal, SS Hermann Manor School, Varanasi, Uttar Pradesh. Sir, very good evening. Over to you, please. Hello, sir, are you there?
Hello, Gagori, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Thank you so much for waiting. Good evening.
I hope I'm audible. Okay.
Absolutely, sir, you're audible. And
I'll keep on waiting. Actually, I had promised yesterday to you and in the morning hours also that you told me that, it's a 2-hour long stretch. And of course, I'm there and I'll be there till last. I can promise that much to you, Gagori. Because, seeing the commitment of yours, the facilitator like you are always touching the hearts of the panelists. So really, first of all, my compliments to you. I will start, definitely this sort of a sort of dialogue with you people with two things. Generally, two things are said, or ये मैं भी हो सकता है कि मेरा अपना personal opinion होए, but मैंने सुना है अक्सर. One is, that the engineers are not good educators, right? And secondly, students' concentration cannot be sustained. Means we cannot compel the students to have the concentration for quite longer time. And let me tell you, both these two things are belied by notebook. Number one, I think notebook team consisting of Achin, then Subayu, Abhishek, and Gagori, of course you. I think all of you or most of you are engineers, right? And secondly, or you are from that particular background, you know, whereby technological aspects are involved in education. Anyways, and second one is the attention of the children cannot be sustained for quite longer time. But both the things are belied here by this organization notebook. As far as I know, or as far as my connectivity with the people is concerned, it was started in 2018 as a startup, right, by these three people, and of course some well-wishers. And within a span of say 3-4 years, it has come to such an ovation that today is, it's 200 not out episode. And I have got the honor to be connected with you people in 3 or 4 panels, and really something which has been milestones, I must say, in my career as a teacher, as an educator. So Gagori, so far as if I talk to the people and to you especially, the core belief that you people are having is number one. And then मैं ये सब इसलिए बता रहा हूँ कि एक बताता है, एक mission statement के बारे में जब बात होती है, ये बताता है. So the very first thing, that core belief that you people share, or rather that core belief that you have, is that every child has got talent, right? As a pure educationist, as a 100% educationist, everybody will think in that way. हमारा पूरा education system जो हमारा पुरानी गुरुकुल परंपरा में रही है, ये यही इसी बेस पे रही है कि हर एक के अंदर talent है, everybody is talented, and of course equally capable in case if that particular student, that particular child is given the opportunity to proceed. And secondly, that society will automatically change in case if every child is given the opportunity for the high education, and that's to quality education. And then finally, that touches my heart. That is, at the end of the day, self-learning is the only learning. Okay, that is all the learning is self-learning. We have to learn everything every day, every time, and in each and every part of our life. We as teachers, we as educators are also learning every day, every second. Well, coming to that point, that where I told you people that the general belief is that children's attention cannot be sustained for quite longer time. उनको बहुत देर तक हम लोग कंसंट्रेट करने के लिए फोर्स नहीं कर सकते, और सिंपल लैंग्वेज में किसी को भी, to any audience, we cannot expect an audience to be glued to us with our all a sort of one-way communication. But audio-visual, the quality audio-visual contents that notebook has created for the students has definitely turned the tides in favor of the students. And today, with those quality audio-visual contents, children are learning a lot, and their interest is also sustained. They keep on, viewing the thing and still don't get bored. I mean, the quality contents that have been created by notebook are really something, to be followed by the others also in this education industry. Coming to my association with you people, I think I attended 4 or 5 webinars with you as the panelist. Some of them were, if I remember correctly, one was on online assessment, the first one, and it was the peak COVID period, 2020, April, or I don't remember the date exactly, but it was 2020. And that was an online assessment, and there the need was there that, okay, we are somehow managing to give this online education to the children, but then, how to assess them. And that particular webinar has given many insight. Even, I could get many things as a panelist also, as a speaker also, because there was many other esteemed speakers, those who had shared many things. And of course, we could get the idea, better idea, that how to assess the children during this time also. The other that I attended with you was about the ethical issues in education. And one more was the self-care for educators. Right, these are some of, and yeah, one more, I think so, it was on quality control for schools. Quality control for schools. These 4 or 5 webinars I attended as a panelist. And definitely, I must say, once again, kudos to you, and I must congratulate all of you and all the panelists, those who are associated with you in one or the other way. The content writers, the panelists, my fellow educationists, you as a team, Gagori as a facilitator, everything. And one, two things I just want to quote from some great minds, particularly एक शेर मुझे याद आ रहा है अकबर इलाहाबादी का, जैसे कि नोटबुक के बारे में मैं particularly कहना चाहूंगा कि that particular शेर is इनका अकबर इलाहाबादी का कि हुजूम में बुलबुल हुआ गुलशन में किया जो गुल ने जमाल पैदा. समझा दूंगा इसको, कुछ लोग नहीं समझ पाते हैं इसका मीनिंग, तो कि हुजूम में बुलबुल हुआ गुलशन में किया जो गुल ने जमाल पैदा, कि कदरदां कई होता है अकबर, करे तो कोई कमाल पैदा, करे तो कोई कमाल पैदा. मीनिंग इसका है कि हुजूम में बुलबुल हुआ गुलशन में मीन्स बागीचे में, बुलबुलों का हुजूम उमड़ पड़ा. और वो क्यों उमड़ पड़ा? कि किया जो गुल ने जमाल पैदा, जो फूल ने जब अपनी खूबसूरती बिखेरी तो बहुत सारी बुलबुलें उसमें गार्डन में इकट्ठा हो गई. तो यही है कि कदरदान कई होते हैं अकबर, करे तो कोई कमाल पैदा. बहुत सारे कदरदान हो जाते हैं जब कोई कुछ, अगर कोई कमाल पैदा करता है, कोई ब्यूटी पैदा करता है, तो बहुत सारे कदरदान भी तैयार हो जाते हैं. तो वही हाल है नोटबुक का, आपकी टीम का, कि आप लोग वो कमाल कर रहे हैं कि आपके बहुत सारे कदरदान हो रहे हैं और धीरे धीरे करके बढ़ते रहेंगे. आप आज 200 प्लस हैं, एंड आई विश दैट यू विल बी नॉन स्टॉप. आप कभी भी आउट ना हो, और इस तरह के सेशंस आपके चलते रहे हमेशा से. फाइनली 2-3 सजेशंस मेरी तरफ से, 2-3 सजेशन थे. आई थिंक सम ऑफ द को पैनलिस्ट दे हैव ऑलरेडी शेयर्ड. नंबर 1 इज दैट in case if suppose you want to go for some sort of digital literature sort of thing, so we as panelists, I personally as a panelist am ready for contributing my articles also, in case if you want that, if you want any help from my side, so I'll be more than glad to contribute my articles there for your those e-magazines and all, whatever you call that. And secondly, involvement of parents also. Educationists are there, but most of us are the principals. In case if owners also, I mean some owners of the schools, maybe there are some owners also of the schools associated with you, but larger number of owners also, because let us listen from the point of view, from the perspective of the owners also. Owners का थोड़ा सा दूसरा mental setup होता है, हमारा principal का कुछ और होता है. And of course, the other pillar, parents. So in case if all of these things are taken care, so I'm sure that you'll go ahead and you'll proceed further, and there is no stopping for you. So best of luck, congratulations. Thank you very much. Right.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for those thought-provoking deliberations, all my panelists. So sometimes in our lives, we stumble in a moment that is so very precious and fulfilling like this. It is the belief in our mission that keeps us going. It has been a great journey for all of us here at Notebook. Let's take you through a walk down the memory lane.
There comes a time when we heard a certain call, when the world must come together as one.
तुझसे किया है दिल ने बयां, किया निगाहों को जुबान.
So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our next guest, Subhash Raghav sir, Director, Samadhan Academy, Bengaluru. Sir, welcome to the panel and thank you so much for waiting.
Thank you, Gauri. First of all, let me convey my best wishes and hearty congratulations to Notebook team, Mr. Achen, Mr. Subayu, and Ms. Gauri. A couple of points from me. Those points which are not covered by my fellow panelists is this. I think I must have attended the maximum number of webinars conducted by Notebook. Maybe 100 plus definitely I must have attended. Of course, speaking as a panel, I must have been on the panel maybe for 7 or 8 of them. Most important ones for me, my area. The second point is I am really fortunate and lucky. I feel myself that I am on this platform where so many principals and so many stalwarts are there, where I have got chance to speak to. Now, everybody has spoken for many points. I would want to convey my special wishes and thanks for Gauri for networking us and for convincing us that you come, and this is only you are important for us to come. And like that, she speaks to all of us, and all of us are there. That is one. Second thing, Mr. Barrett was trying to say, I pick up from there because I have seen almost everywhere in all webinars he was there. If he, being headmaster of Doon, can talk about the 2 points about grammar and the language, that is the tough words and things like that. For me, it will be really very big thing that I am on this platform where Sachin, Achen, and all other team members speak so much comprehensible language that everybody can understand on this earth, particularly our school and college students and parents. Coming to the points, from my perspective, one is that we must, or you must have some webinars on the role of parents. The role of parents we had. See, completing 200 webinars on various topics itself is very big thing. That means 2 things. One is that we have 200 topics on which we can have conduct webinars. The second thing is 200 is not complete. There are thousands of topics on which we can keep talking and trying to convey something which we know to our students, parents, and of course teachers. So one is that topic we can again cover, that is the role of parents in molding students or making their life. That is one. Second thing is on when we come on what all careers are available, let's also try to focus on non-conventional careers. Most of the times we are now restricted on engineering, medical, and things like that. So there are so many careers, good careers on which we can speak, and they are not conventional. The third point which I would try to say is, let us all three, that is student, parent, and teachers, and people like us, try to imbibe positive attitude and good aptitude in our this youngsters, whether they are students or whether they have completed their education. Yes, when we say should we include parents also in this? Yes, as one our friend was saying, that we can have both varieties. One is where parents are part with the others. One is where only parents are there. Believe me, Gagori, I have conducted around 5 webinars for parents alone. For parents alone, the webinar managed by the school and conducted by me as a speaker for their parents, for the parents of only that schools. So it works really well. I would wish all the best for Notebook. There are definitely more and more topics where we can speak. And yes, when it comes to e-magazine, I would also like to be part of that e-magazine and contributor to that. Wishing you all the best. Thank you so much.
We have with us Heblata Suri ma'am.
Yeah, am I
Counselor,
audible
Delhi
to
NCR.
you? Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, yes, ma'am, you are perfectly audible
Good
and you're
evening
visible
and
too.
namaskar. Jai Hind to everyone. And I'm sorry, I'm speaking from a very dark background because I'm sitting in a car due to poor
It's okay, ma'am.
network.
It's okay.
And
Absolutely
Notebook
fine
has
with us.
always actually had bared with these issues because I have been, whenever Gaguri called me, I was some part of India, and then she has actually carried out and connected me. So thank you and heartiest congratulations to Notebook and whole team. And I remember the first time I attended Notebook webinar, accidentally I was looking for something during COVID due to lockdown, because I wanted to enrich myself, how to go about it. And then I get this beautiful, wonderful platform, and then the journey began. And Abhishek was the one who coordinated many programs, and then we went on. And thank you for always doing such wonderful work. As your name says, Notebook Together for Education. You're actually there together with us, giving us a platform, giving us enlightening sessions, and always it's a great learning. Whenever I have doubt, I have some issue, I always search and get something which helps me out. Whenever I need some well-researched viewpoints and diverse perspective, it's always there. Notebook has it. So thank you for doing these wonderful, superb, researched, well-researched sessions, getting such wonderful speakers and panelists and getting us here on this lovely platform and creating a lovely, wonderful, informative, story-based, interesting learning content, which is one of the most, wonderful thing which you're doing. So this is something I would like to express. And yes, of course, mental health and well-being, which is my passion. So I would definitely, and I was happy that my co-panelists have also stressed upon it. So life skills could be also pulled in, and there are many life skills you can get. Like we are running peer educator programs in CBSE. So we can have students coming over during their time, like post-examination, you can have some speakers since they have many things to express. So that could be there. And one more thing is about NEP. There's a lot of confusion amongst educators. So you can pick up few things from there, like inclusivity, backless days. There are many things which are there. Many ingredients which are there in NEP, which could be taken up, and you can, clear the air in that area. So that is one thing. These are the few things I wanted to say, and heartiest congratulations. Go on, reach that 1,000 with that endless journey. Yes, I'm looking forward and happy to be there, happy to be part of this notebook, one of those pages. As Mahesh Iyer sir beautifully described those things about notebook, those aspects of notebook.
Yes,
So thank you so much. And thank you everyone, each panelist who has been contributing. It has been a learning experience always. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and all of you once again for joining us today and for those encouraging words. And as we come close to the end of this celebration, nothing would be complete without the captain of our ship, Mr. Achin Bhattacharya. Very rarely in our lives, ladies and gentlemen, we meet people who are driven by their passions so admirably, who can risk it all for a vision worth pursuing. And the Notebook team is truly blessed to have this amazing gentleman with us as a torchbearer. Achin, a very, very good evening. Thank you so much for Notebook, and over to you, please.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Gaur. I hope I'm audible.
Absolutely.
I welcome all of you again to our 200th episode of Together for Education webinar. Indeed, it has been a memorable journey, which was only possible because of your active participation, mentorship, and constructive suggestions. We here at Notebook consider ourselves as mere custodians of this vibrant democratic academic community in the cloud. The platform indeed belongs to all of you. And today when I say this with a lot of pride that the kind of ownership, sense of belonging, and attachment that each one of you have exhibited has made these sessions a way of life. Recently, during year end, when we took a break of a few weeks, we got anxious queries from some of our patrons about our well-being as webinars were not being held. This is our biggest achievement. When all of you adopted and embraced this platform and each one of us as your very own. So today, on behalf of Team Notebook, I express my heartfelt gratitude to each individual and institution who have been a part of our journey. Today, when we look back, in this platform, we had the privilege to host people from different walks of life. We hosted decorated soldiers who taught us about courage and resilience. We heard famous international cricketers, Bollywood singers who shared with us their stories of passion and hard work. And many of the successful individuals, be it Everest climbers, Padma Shri winners, chief executive of global institutions, also told us that sometimes it's okay to fail, but not okay to give up or stop trying. We are all human with our own share of vulnerabilities and insecurities, but we must not give up. And to me, that's the spirit. We heard inspirational stories of cancer survivors. We heard from parents of neurodivergent children who defied all odds and accomplished whatever they aspired for. It reminds me of Siddhartha, a novel by Hermann Hesse, based on the early life of Buddha. A young Siddhartha, on realizing the contradictions between reality and what he has been taught, abandons his comfortable life to wander. His goal is to find serenity that will enable him to defeat fear and to experience with equanimity the contrast of life, including joy, sorrow, life, and death. So indeed, from the rural heartland of India to living rooms in the bustling metropolis, from Africa to Amsterdam, from each corner of our great country to places where educators of Indian diaspora have made us so proud. This webinar has given us the opportunity to connect with each one of you and gain from your collective wisdom. Thank you for sharing your stories and gracing our platform. We here at Notebook remain forever indebted to you. Thank you, take care, and goodbye.